Good morning. Welcome to 49ers in 5, your daily update on everything happening with the team that you need to know. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. Today is Wednesday, February 28th, 2024. Here's what's happening with your San Francisco 49ers. John Lynch spoke from the combine yesterday, and there were two main topics we wanted to hear about. The first was Brandon Aiyuk. The second was defensive coordinator and everything going on with that situation. First, let's start with Brandon Aiyuk. John Lynch was asked if the $30 million increase to the salary cap makes it easier for the 49ers to sign Brandon Aiyuk. Lynch said in part, quote, Brandon's one that we think incredibly high of, and I think we've got a nice track record of extending the players that are important to us. And Brandon's a guy we want to keep around for a long time. Now, it should be noted the Niners do have a long track record of keeping their own players. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, all guys that they have re-signed. But we know what happened with DeForest Buckner. And if you go and you look at an interview that John Lynch gave with KMBR before the DeForest Buckner trade, he said all the same nice things about DeForest Buckner. Now, I'm not saying that means Ayuk's getting traded. I'm saying we don't know, right? Everything is still on the table at this point. The other thing John Lynch was asked about was the defensive coordinator situation. The combine is starting this week. John, does it change your evaluation of defensive players knowing you don't have a defensive coordinator?
No, because I think we have a great idea who we're going to be and continue to be and the things we believe in. So is it important? Sure. And we're working towards that. Kyle's working towards that. And that will come in due time here. But we want to be true to the process and learn a lot from it, identify some of the changes and tweaks we want to make while still staying kind of to our core.
That was a very interesting answer from John Lynch, especially when you hear what else he had to say from the combine, which I'm going to get to in just 1 minute. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, and one thing you might have missed. One thing to read on this Wednesday is a fascinating column from Matt Barrows, who talked with John Lynch at the combine. And Lynch offered some interesting thoughts on defensive coordinator, including at one point arguing in favor of Brandon Staley, saying don't rule out Brandon Staley as a potential winner of this sweepstakes. And then Lynch talked about all the ways the 49ers modified their scheme away from what it originally was when Kyle took over. Very strange comments that John Lynch would almost be advocating for Brandon Staley, and he doesn't even have the job yet. If you want to read it, I highly recommend it. Click the link in the description of this episode. One thing to watch, John Lynch was also asked, could you take an interior offensive lineman for the first time in your tenure in the early rounds of the draft? And Lynch didn't offer a long answer. In fact, it was his shortest one, but it may have been the most telling. It was only 4 words. Tune in and watch. Will do, John. Will do. One thing you may have missed, the 49ers finally reshuffled their front office in the wake of Adam Peters leaving and becoming the general manager in Washington. If you are curious, the Niners have promoted 2 people, Tariq Ahmad and R.J. Gillen. Both now have the title of Director of Player Personnel. If you're wondering how it was split up in the past, Tariq Ahmad was basically in charge of the college scouting and that type of thing. R.J. Gillen was more the pro scouting free agents, scouting other teams, scouting the 49ers themselves in case they had to make moves during the season. They both now, as I said, have the title of Director of Player Personnel. Hopefully that's a good thing for both of them. I think it's a little weird that 2 people are essentially being used to replace the work of one person, Adam Peters, but who knows? Let's see how it goes. John Lynch did also say there might be more moves after the draft in terms of the front office, so we'll see if the 49ers add anyone, but that is where things stand right now. That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Really appreciate it if you do. It helps more people find us, and we're always looking to do that. If you click the bell, you'll get notified every single time we go live, which is every single weekday for you. I will be live Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, reacting to John Lynch. Hopefully, we'll have a little more news on the defensive coordinator situation. Plus, I'm going to try and check in with Jason Aponte, who is at the Combine for us for the Gold Standard Podcast Network. We'll see if he can empty out his notebook and tell us what he has discovered during his time in Indianapolis. Enjoy your Wednesday, everybody. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. We'll talk later today.